Hey, welcome to the Knave. As you can see, there's only two of us this week because Mischa has chosen to spend time with his kids. Loser.
Yeah, they're all singing Christmas carols at the annual school pageant, which by my standard is only slightly less annoying than listening to us ramble about Frasier, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're approaching the holiday season rapidly, and by the time this comes out, we might be totally in the thick of it. So we're going to rank all 8 of the Frasier Christmas episodes. Frasier being one of our favorite shows, Mischa not so much.
Yeah.
So
hang out. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this episode with like your grandma and your mom and everybody else because you know what? This is probably the most PG-13 episode we're gonna do.
Yeah, and that's probably due to Mischa
not being here.
Yeah. So take that as it is. We will see you in a couple of seconds. Stick around.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of The Rambling Knave. I'm Brandon, and well, I thought I had a partner in crime today. Oh, hey Noah.
Oh, hi, Brandon. Sorry, I'm late. Came dangerously close to overbraising my shard.
Oh no. You do look a little crispy. So, yeah, hi. This week, we're going to be talking about Frasier and the greatness that it is, and the greatness that is the Christmas episodes. All 8 of them. We will rank them in our order from least to worst. Or,
Least to worst?
yeah, worst to best.
Worst to first.
Yeah, worst to first. Yeah, so, you know, before we get started, Noah, would you like a sherry?
That sounds delightful.
I thought so. So, let's have ourselves a little sherry. If you watch Frasier, you know the fact that they're always drinking sherry.
It is a fortified wine.
Which I don't really know what that means, other than just means it'll get you fucked up quicker, I think.
Yeah, I like it. I like this $7 bottle of sherry I found at the grocery store for this episode.
Yeah, I'll say I never really had sherry before. But it's pretty fucking good, really.
It's really nice.
And I mean, for $7, you could drink this whole thing, and I mean, granted, you would be shit hammered.
Yeah.
Is this like 19%?
18% by volume.
No, that's close.
Cream sherry.
Yeah, pretty good.
Full-bodied dessert wine with a medley of sweet and nutty flavors.
Yeah, kind of tastes like plum wine when you go to like a good like sake or like Japanese place that they give you as like their dessert wine.
Yeah,
so,
a little,
you know, it has a through line, you know, everybody has the same sort of flavors. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, we're going to start with worst to first. Number 8 with a bullet. This is kind of a crappy episode, period. It's one of the worst episodes of Frasier overall. It's Merry Christmas. Haha, play on words, M-A-R-Y, Christmas, not M-A-R-R-Y.
Yeah, okay, so Merry Christmas was a season 8 episode that brought back a character from, I believe it was the previous season, Mary Thomas. She was a producer filling in for Roz at the previous episode and ended up being kind of Frasier's sidekick and then getting her own show.
Calling herself a doctor.
Yeah, like doing Frasier-style radio psychiatry with a more personable bent.
Yeah, a little bit more down home, like, my grandma says, you know.
Grandpa Willie.
Yeah, that's
Grandpa Willie wisdom. Yeah, so her initial, I got mixed feelings about her character because initially she was on to make fun of or kind of satirize the, you know, radio or TV doctors. You know,
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, who wasn't ever actually a licensed medical doctor. He just called himself that. Who ironically ends up on this show.
That's
in
true.
An episode.
Yes, he does.
But her character was so sweet and friendly and personable, you couldn't help but like her.
But that being said, she's so saccharine that it becomes kind of annoying.
That's true, but I guess, you know, the point was it was satire, but like the satire of her character didn't quite land. So they bring her back for this episode, and Frasier's trying to get a slot hosting the Christmas parade because his predecessor has left. So he butters up the original host who falls ill, and they need
Due to him.
Due to him, yeah.
Yeah.
And so they need a last minute replacement, and who else but Dr. Mary, fresh off her new book with a PhD from the
School of Hard Knocks.
School of Hard
She's now
Knocks.
officially a doctor.
Yeah. Much to Frasier's chagrin, and for the whole episode, he's just a downright prick to her.
Just in general, he's an ass. This is the episode where you will literally hate Frasier. Like, he's pretentious, but in a lovable kind of a way. In this episode, he steps over the line and just becomes an asshole.
Yeah, he's mean. Like, when they're doing the parade, he's just straight up mean. He punches Santa. It's just this gross comedy of errors. It's not even really a comedy. It's cringy.
Yeah, it's cringy. The B plot isn't really there's really not a B plot. It's just everybody else is opening their presents when they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, there's not much to it. It's kind of par for the course for season 8, which was, I would have to I don't think I'm out on a limb when I say I think season 8's probably the weakest season.
Yeah, it starts good and it ends good, but the middle, oof.
Yeah, the middle's just full of duds. I went through and looked at the IMDb ratings for all these episodes, just as kind of a guideline. Take it with a grain of salt. It's IMDb, but this one had a 7.1, which was the second lowest rating of any Frasier episode out of all 260 some. There are only 6 others that got a 7.1. This one, the one with Bob from season 3, the wheelchair, that one was annoying. The one where Daphne's mom moves in.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Daphne's mom's annoying. The one where Frasier's analyzing Kenny. Station manager Kenny.
Yeah, there's nothing good except for the jacket.
Yeah. The one where Frasier pesters that Habitat family where they built the Habitat house, and it just keeps going back, which is also another cringy one. Somehow, it's got the same rating as the Ann Hodges episode.
Which, that is one of the worst episodes of anything. Ann Hodges is just...
She is the worst
There are very
character.
few episodes, out of all those episodes you just read, I will watch. But this episode and the Ann Hodges episode are the only two I can say I will skip.
Yeah, I cannot watch Ann Hodges.
Yeah,
I think that one is the worst.
I watch Frasier once a year. Start to finish, at least once a year. And then when I'm really sad, I watch it again. But
I usually just keep it on,
it's good background.
Yeah, it flips between this and The Simpsons as, my go-tos. But that, I just can't stand that.
See, for me, it's this and Cheers, which, come on.
Which,
Same through line. Frasier's in from what season?
I think it's 3.
Yeah, because he does 20 years.
Yeah.
So season 3.
Yeah, so there's that, and then actually the lowest rated episode on IMDb is the season 11 episode where they go to the cabin. They all have these really bizarre David Lynch dreams.
Yeah, that's a weird one, but it's way better than this. I can watch it.
I don't really like the episode, but I can watch it because it feels very David Lynchian.
Yeah,
like I just said, and I love David Lynch.
Yeah, it's so bizarre, and then it ends on the sweet note with the whole song and dance.
Yeah.
With Ronnie and Martin. Anyway, we digress. But yeah, this episode sucks. Feel free to skip it unless you're sitting down and doing a Christmas power watch of all things Frasier Christmas.
Okay, if you're watching it for the first time, you have to get through it. I wouldn't skip an episode the first time.
No, not the first time, but once you're watching it,
you're gonna see what we mean where Frasier's kind of an asshole.
Yeah. So
he's an asshole.
And then we also rated Martin's decorating.
There's a through line throughout most of these Christmas episodes where Martin likes to decorate the apartment, much to Frasier's chagrin. So hopefully, Mischa, can we get screen caps down here? Okay, so as you can see, this one's pretty tame by comparison. There's just a tree and some garland over the fireplace.
Not much.
I don't know.
A very pedestrian effort by Martin on this one.
Yeah, well, Frasier's son Freddie was not, wasn't flying in from Boston So
yeah, no Lilith, no Freddy.
So yeah, so I guess that's all there is to that one. I don't really feel like talking about it anymore, and we hit a tangent because I don't even like talking about it to begin with because it's not a very good one.
Yeah. Now number 7, on the other hand, now this is a 2-parter. It's the fight before Christmas. Now, it's a really good episode. Like, it makes me painful to put this at 7 because it is a very important episode. It has some really great one-liners. It has a lot of great character work. It's the only one where Mel appears. It's the only one where Donnie appears. It's really a good episode. It's really just boils down to, at this point, Niles and Mel break up in the episode prior. Because, again, it's a previously on, which they don't do a whole lot of. There's only a handful of episodes like that. Which, that's why this one's down. Because you have to have seen the episode prior. It's not standalone. But, it's really, that's the whole through line for the most part. It's just, this is the episode where Daphne realizes truly that she has feelings for Niles. Niles is with Mel. She is engaged to Donnie at this point, who is a really lovable character. I really like Donnie.
Yeah.
It makes me sad that he's not in it after this because, well, not this episode, but once he's gone, because he was just a great character. And Sal Rubinek, the actor, is just an awesome actor anyway. I mean, he shows up as a Warehouse 13, and he does a great job on that. Anyway, I digress. But
yeah, I'm going to digress too. He was in Star Trek for a little bit.
Yes, he was.
Was it TNG or Deep Space Nine?
Yes.
Both?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
He plays small characters in both.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, now Frasier's mentor is Renee Aberdeen-Jonas, who plays Odo in Deep Space Nine, who just died the other day.
Who actually just passed away.
Which,
yes, it's sad.
That makes me sad because he's...
Rest in peace, Dr. Tewksbury.
Oh, yeah. God, so funny. Anyway, but yeah, so this episode is great. I mean, there's a lot of good one-liners, but it's an important episode. It's a heartfelt episode. It plays on your heartstrings. It also makes you laugh. A lot of the Christmas episodes can stand alone as far as not just it doesn't have to be played with anything else, but that you can watch them out of order and it doesn't really impact the season on the whole.
Yeah, with
this episode is pivotal to the entire show.
Yeah, and that's why it's at 7, because you can't just put it on unless you've already delved into the show. Like, you have to know what's going on beforehand, in which, like he said, there's a weird love quadrangle with Mel, Niles, and Daphne Donnie. The B plot actually is pretty funny, where Frasier's hosting a big Christmas party for everyone in his building, but not his office. And he's wondering why no one shows up. But the guy who lives upstairs from him, who he's had a rivalry with...
Cam Winston
is having...
Drives that big SUV!
You kidding? He could barely...
Many times I've been brought to grief on my...
Give shit.
shift.
Why doesn't he just pull frontway in? You kidding? He could barely hit that spot when that guy's car isn't there. So he's having a rival party upstairs. Green Party 1901 sounds like this. Winston Party 2000. That sounds like the party of the future.
Savory lamb tenders.
Yes.
Mushroom caps.
So Frasier's bummed because no one's coming to his party because there's a better one going on upstairs. Again, like I said, if you know the show, this is a fine episode. If you're coming in dry, you're gonna get lost.
Yeah,
and
you're gonna be
it won't have that emotional punch at the end where Niles and Daphne are on the balcony. So yeah, I mean, it's got an IMDb rating of 8.3, so that's a solid B. That's a good episode. Yeah. But again, I'm gonna repeat for like the 6th time. You have to know the show, so that's why it's low.
The decorations, I mean, they're okay.
That looks like the same as the
last one. Yeah, I mean,
this one came before. This was the year before. This is season 7. Mary was
they just kind of recycled for Mary. I mean, they're okay. They just look like, smaller. But again, there's no Freddy.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was a little disappointed because you'd think they were having a big party, But you know what? That's probably why, because Frasier was like, hey, I'm having all these people in my very nice building gonna be here. We can't go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Whatever. So number 6 is from the first season.
Number 6 is Miracle on 3rd or 4th Street. And if you've already noticed and may continue to notice that all of the Frasier episodes on this particular show are puns based on famous Christmas carols or properties. Most of the titles are puns, but this is my favorite pun of all of them. Obviously taking off of Miracle on 34th Street, one of the classic
Christmas movies.
It's
a classic movie.
You know it. I don't have to explain that. So this one's at 6 because it's a little rocky. You know, it's the first season. The show's trying to find its footing. What happens in this episode is one of the guys at the radio station, Bulldog, can't work on Christmas or doesn't want to because of family. So he asks,
but really wants to go to a fight.
Yeah, he wants to go to a boxing match.
In Vegas.
He's the sports guy. So he asked Frasier to cover, and Frasier says, no, I'm doing Christmas with my kid and my family. But then it turns out that Freddie, his son, is not coming in.
No, he's in Switzerland.
Oh, yes, the Sound of Music
with the Sound
tour.
of Music
Yes,
tour.
with Lilith.
Yeah.
And then he and his dad get in a fight over decorating for Christmas, which we'll get to that in a moment. So they have a big falling out, so Frasier says, screw Christmas, I'm going to go to work.
Dressed as like, I mean, he's wearing some ratty old jeans. I mean, it's one of the only times you see Frasier just dressed like a normal person.
You say one of, but there's one episode, there's another episode
Well,
where
when he loses his job.
Looks homeless,
Yeah.
and but that's...
But I'm saying, like, this is one of the only ones. I mean, he's wearing, like, a ratty gray, like, crew neck sweater and sweatshirt.
Like paint-stained jeans.
And paint-stained jeans and some busty old sneakers.
Yeah, so he looks...
I'm surprised he even owns those clothes.
Yeah. So he goes into work looking all haggard because it's Christmas, who cares? And then he's getting barraged with really depressing phone calls, even as he's trying to go in and cheer people up on Christmas. And then there's these really tragicomic phone calls that just keep coming in. They get progressively sadder and sadder, but for me, they get progressively funnier.
Absolutely funnier.
You know, because it's just that, you know, tragedy is comedy, like, played backwards or something. My favorite one is Barry the Crier, who just can't stop crying. And they have to, like, they'll cut away from him and check on him later and he's still crying.
Yeah, it's Ben Stiller.
Yeah, it's Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, it comes to a head where Roz is in the booth crying because it's so depressing, and he sends her home. He calls the show. He goes out to get a bite to eat at one of the only local eateries that's open, and it's some rundown diner. They're serving the Christmas platter, which is just a turkey log and potatoes with a dessert log.
Yule log
Yule
for
log.
dessert.
Yeah. He left his wallet at the station
It's
or
just
something.
him and a bunch of homeless guys.
Yeah. And
Because Christmas, the rest of the year is for the rich guys, but Christmas is for us blue collar regular guys.
Yeah. And, like, okay, so I have mixed feelings about the diner scene because, A, it's really touching, you know, and it's a humbling moment for Frasier early on where, like, he forgets his wallet and can't pay, so everyone in the building chips in to help him out on Christmas. You know, and they give him a quarter to call his dad and, you know, apologize and make amends and all that. But what gets me is that, like, at the end of the day, Frasier's still a really wealthy guy, and I feel like he just, in the moment it seems right, but like I said, at the end of the day, he kind of fleeced these poor, destitute souls out of, like, whatever they could spare just to get a turkey log.
Yeah.
So that kind of sits weird with me.
Like, he could have just went home.
Yeah.
And, like, avoided his dad or something. Like, yeah, it's a real dick move.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't have an episode but for that, you know, but I feel like the writers kind of missed the denouement on this, like
they were trying to make it heartfelt, and I mean, on the surface, it's heartfelt, but for those of us that are, you know, Frasier files, if you will, and really are into the show, you watch it again, and you're like, oh, that's a real dick move.
Yeah, because you never see the resolution of any of this. Like, he doesn't come back with, like, a gift for these people or, like, something to thank them. It just kind of ends on, getting a quarter to call his dad.
And him
sneaking
sneaking
away
out,
to his
getting in his BMW
Beamer,
and driving
yeah.
off. Yeah, so dick move.
Yeah, so that's really, like, if he came back and handed them each, like, a really nice suit and helped them get a job, hey, this episode jumps all the way to, like, 2 or 1.
Yeah.
As it stands, I can't stand that. It's got to be a 6.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Even though IMDb has it at 8.5.
Yeah, which, I mean, maybe that subtle nuance is overlooked by a lot of people.
I guess.
Because, I guess, again, if you don't put those 2 and 2 together, you're just...
Yeah.
If you don't have 4, you're just looking at 2 and 2, you're like, oh, that's really heartfelt, it's sweet.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't the actual intent of the writer to make it come off that way.
No, but we're jaded individuals.
Yeah.
So we think it's that way.
Yeah.
Now, what about the decor?
There's not really any.
Nope.
As you can see, it's just Martin yelling at a tree because that's all that's getting up at that point is they've got the tree. It's not even decorated, and then Frasier brings in the chili pepper lights, which Brandon looked.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
And hard to find.
So Martin hated the chili pepper lights, and that's what started the fight. They got Frasier to work and end up in the diner and carry the rest of the episode.
Yeah. So that's it. Now, number 5.
Number 5 was kind of a point of contention between us, and maybe we did that just so we'd have some talking points, but I personally had this at 4, which doesn't seem like it was too big of a jump, but there's just 3 episodes.
I had it at 7.
Yeah.
So
IMDb has their rating at 7.5, so a hard C, siding with Brandon. I like this episode. This one is We Two Kings from season 10. So in this episode, Niles and Daphne are newly married, and they want to do Christmas at their house because it's their first Christmas as a married couple.
Montana.
At the swanky Montana. Frasier wants to keep Christmas at his place like tradition dictates. So they bicker and fight over it for Act 1. Martin has to think about it. So Act 2 is them pitted against each other trying to butter Dad up to try and sway his thinking. Until Martin finally says, you know what, screw it. You boys have been acting really immature. I'm just going to go to work on Christmas and we're not doing it. Act 3 is the boys scheming together to devise a plan to bring Christmas to Martin's work. He's a security guard at some skyscraper. So they're going to switch the fake presents from underneath the decorative tree at Martin's work with the real presents from the apartment. And voila, we'll show up at work and surprise Dad with real presents and have Christmas there. It doesn't work out that way in the end, but I like this episode for a handful of reasons. The first, and I guess least of which, Act 1 is dynamite.
Act 1 is fantastic. That's the part of the episode where it kills me that I put it low. Because Act 1 has some of the best one-liners.
Oh, yeah.
Period. Yeah, some really quotable moments, them going after each other, and Frasier getting more and more, Frasiered when it just gets more and more frazzled. Did you not hear? I ordered un Hungarian goose!
Goose! It's the way his voice cracks when he says goose.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, there's a large comical argument over what is or isn't wassail, and where's my wassail bowl? Use a punch bowl, but then it would be punch, not wassail.
Yep.
Turns of phrases like that. When Daphne's explaining how they got her mom to vacate, who's a really annoying character on this show, by the way.
Yeah.
They got her to vacate on an international cruise. Well, how'd you get her to do that? Oh, well, in international waters, she found out she could play single deck blackjack.
Which really plays to the character.
Yeah, exactly. Act 1 is just really well written. But for me, what really sells this episode is the dynamic between the brothers. And because Act 1, they're just fighting, they're at each other's throats, they're bickering, they cannot come to a consensus. But by the end of Act 2, all of that has stopped and switched. And then they start scheming of these really, childishly good ideas. And
it really seems to remind me of somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, me and the other weirdo who's not here right now.
And your younger brother.
Yeah, and that's, yeah.
Well, the youngest brother.
Well, Mischa's not the youngest, but...
And
yeah, but
Doober.
that's the brother dynamic. That's, we can be button heads all afternoon.
Hitting each other in a dick with footballs.
Yeah, but, come evening, all that's switched around when we figure out something we can both put our heads to.
Like hitting me in the dick with the football.
Exactly. So for me, it plays on this brotherly dynamic really, really well.
It does a great job of that.
Yeah.
It really shows that. It really reinforces Martin's love of all things Christmas. He points out the fact that, like, maybe you should realize that, it reminds me of the good times with your mother. Mm-hmm. Things like that. So it's a really solid episode. It's just, to me, it would fall a little lower.
Right, and I mean, the competition coming up is pretty stiff. The third thing I like is, I guess this is kind of least important, you get a really nice back and forth dialogue with Roz and Daphne at Cafe Nervosa, which is the coffee shop they frequent throughout the entire series, almost every episode. And you didn't get a lot of that before, but you can see now that their relationship, like, they're actually becoming real, true friends.
Talking about, like, Dean Cain as Santa, when they were trying to, like, she wants to fuck Super Santa, but until she realizes he's just, Dean Cain. Like, really? You don't want to bang it out with Dean Cain, but you'll go out with TV Noel?
Yeah, okay, so the B plot is Roz is working part-time at the mall as an elf helper for Santa. And Santa's played by TV Superman Dean Cain. And so Roz has a thing for, you think it's Dean Cain behind the Santa beard because, that's Roz's character. She's just a really, promiscuous, sexually active, strong woman. But it turns out when she meets Dean Cain in the flesh, she's not into Dean Cain. She's just, like, she subconsciously wants to fuck Santa.
Oh, so hard.
And it's kind of weird, but it's
hard.
hilarious.
Because she's a ho-ho-ho. Yeah. She's into that jelly belly.
Yeah, like, so it's this weird spin on, like...
But I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. The fact that, like, she could have been like, you're Santa. I mean, it would have been so easy for them to be like, you're Santa, and her to, like, run off with Dean Cain.
But no, she doesn't want Dean Cain.
No, she wants
She wants Santa.
She wants that Saint Nick. She wants to take her piece. All right, so now number 4. The
Christmas decor. I gave this one a 6.
Yeah, this one's okay.
It's understated and it's tasteful. I gave this a 6 because I like the Christmas Village. Frasier has his Christmas Village out, and I think this is the first time out of the show. It took 10 seasons for Frasier to get into the holiday spirit of decorating, but he has his porcelain Christmas Village out, and this reminds me of my grandma, who had a very extensive Christmas Village, and I guess this used to be a thing.
Point of contention, used to be?
Is it still a thing? You have one?
Set up upstairs, yes. Currently there is a Christmas Village almost directly above your head.
Okay, so 1, I'm going to have to see this in real life, and 2, I'm going to have to see it, and now I'm going to have to start building my own Christmas Village to put yours to shame.
Good luck. I have more money than you.
That is very true.
Not anymore. Just bought a house.
See? I got a leg up on you. Okay, so... Yeah, so it's a warm feeling for me. Like, Christmas Village. Our grandma had one of those.
Okay, so number 4 for me means a lot. In the same way that the last episode meant a lot to Noah due to his relationship with Mischa, this episode is Frasier Grinch. Now, this is the A plot really all boils down to Frasier and Freddie, which is Frasier's son, which, as you have probably figured out by this point, I've mentioned many times, I have a son. So this one resonates? That's the word. This one really hits me with the feels. We'll go that way. We'll Porky Pig it and just go a whole different route. Okay. Because it's all about Frasier and his son. Frasier trying to get the right present. He just keeps buying presents for everybody that he thinks they should want, not what they actually want. which amounts to like him showing the fact that he bought like a dressing gown for Martin and some sort of like really expensive tie or something and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, which I mean, like the smoking jacket or whatever it was.
Which I mean, objectively beautiful. I really wish I could find it. I would own it in a heartbeat.
But that's like, you know, that like, but you're more Frasier than Martin. Like Martin would never wear that. You would.
Oh, I would wear that.
Which is the point. Like, yeah, like Frasier bought a gift for himself that he thinks someone else should take on. He's projecting.
Yeah. Well, I guess that says a whole lot of things about me that we're just not going to talk about. But anyway.
So shopping for his 8-year-old.
Yeah, shopping for his 8-year-old. They go, you know, because he declares that he found this great thing and he ordered on, well, I was going to say online, but I guess at this point it probably wouldn't have been online. It probably was.
I mean, like
just
out of a catalog.
Yeah, and he ordered, you know, the living brain that he could paint the different pieces and shove inside the living skull and all this stuff, and the package arrives and it's a big box and he opens it up, it's full of Barbies and
a dollhouse.
Yeah, and you know, because
it's one of, I guess this is probably one of my favorite lines of the entire show. Where's my, you know, what is this, Barbies? And then Niles just deadpans. It looks like the cranes of Maine have got your living brain. Just his delivery and just that line just like,
it's so deadpan.
Yeah.
So they decide, you know, Martin tells him that, you know, there's a toy store in the mall that's on their way to the airport where they have to pick up Freddie. They go in there, and it's got... Honestly, it's one of the times where Niles really, like, is a big kid.
Yeah,
it's adorable.
Yeah, it's a little out of character, but it works.
It works.
And it's so funny when he finds the fireman hat with it's got the rotating light. What's it doing now? And he's just getting progressively more excited.
As Frasier just gets more and more annoyed.
Yeah, for every time he goes, what's it doing now? As he keeps pressing buttons and it keeps doing something.
And it makes sounds, the light starts spinning, and then at the end it starts squirting water on Frasier's cashmere jacket. I mean, and it's great. Like, he finds a living brain and he like grabs it and it's all dusty and realizes it's just an empty box.
Yeah.
And behind them is, and this is a foreshadowing. There's a display for the outlaw laser robo geek that is completely empty.
Yeah, and that's the hot toy of the year. That's what every kid wants, and Frasier doesn't think his kid would like it because he's so smart. And then, you know, he missed it. Like, you know, it's Dad doesn't have the Christmas present on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and he's super bummed and like on the verge of tears, really. And Martin and him are talking in the dining area, and he's like, "Well, you might as well open your present. You're not gonna like it anyway." I don't remember what it was. It was something. And he's like, "Oh, I love it. Really? No." And he's like, "Well, why don't you open yours?" And it's the outlaw laser robo geek. And he's like, "Oh, Dad, it's just what I wanted." And he's like, "Batteries? They're inside." "Oh, Dad!"
Yeah.
And I mean, I totally get that. I mean, I've been that dad where I've gotten things for Ryan, my son, thinking like, this is exactly what he's gonna want. And then like, you know, any of you that have kids know that like kids will change their minds. They're like a fart in a skillet and it just changes like that. So like, you know, I buy the present 3 weeks prior to Christmas or a month or two, and then like 2 days before Christmas, all of a sudden it's, I don't want that, I want this. Like, fuck!
I already spent $200.
Yeah, and you can't find that toy anymore. Yeah. Like, yeah. So I've been there. I know that elation of finding, maybe not this exact way. Like, my dad never was like, "Hey, here's the present your son really wants," but it's definitely been that elation of last minute finding that toy that I know is going to drive him crazy.
Yeah.
And in particular, way back in the day, I found an AT-AT Lego. This is when I was really broke.
Yeah.
And I found one, and I had just enough money. It was on sale, and I spent all night Christmas Eve as my son was sleeping, building a fucking 2,500 piece goddamn Lego AT-AT, which he still has, by the way, even though he's old.
Well, but I mean,
it's dope.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I get it. And this is the episode that gives me all the feels, just do the father-son sort of thing. Now, the decor in this one.
This is a 10 out of 10. I will say 10 with an asterisk. It's not my favorite, but this is as hog wild as Martin goes. The entire apartment, floor to ceiling is decorated. The walls, the sconces, the pillars, the life-size talking Santa, or if you step on the mat, it says ho ho ho, or Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. Although it doesn't work all the time. There's like 2 misses, so I don't know if they stepped over
the mat. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like it's just. Like I said, floor to ceiling, and it's fun. Like this is the first time Freddy shows up on the show for Christmas.
Yep, and he's still a little kid. He's probably 6, maybe 7.
Yeah,
somewhere in there. Maybe a little older.
He's sub 10 years old.
Yeah, he's sub 10. So
the line goes all out.
Yeah, the spirit of Christmas still enthralls him. So yeah, really solid episode. Anyway, so number 3. Now, for me, this was number 2. This was a point of contention. Now, granted, I love number 2. The top 3 in these are solid episodes. But for me, this one was number 2, but I will...
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I had this one at 3. So that's not a far cry. But yeah, from here to the end, like, these are like... You're
splitting hairs.
Yeah, it's on your favorite day... But also, like, I'm going to throw these out there, like, not just Christmas episodes. These are just, like, really good Frasier episodes. Like, if you wanted to compile a list of, like, top 20, top 30, these would be in top 30 all time.
Oh, yeah. And number 1 would be in the top 5. At least.
At least 5.
Yeah. And so this is Merry Christmas, Miss Moskowitz. This is where he meets Faye.
Yes.
The fabulous Faye. Wonderful Faye. Always Faye.
Yes. The one of his very few recurring girlfriends that you hate that he fucked this one up.
Yeah, she was
she was a solid relationship.
She should have been her and the one he was with at the very end. Are they
Laura Linney?
Yeah. Those are the only 2.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree there that if you're going Frasier's long term, that it was Faye and I just know her as Laura Linney.
Yeah,
she's an actual big time actress.
Yeah. But yeah, Faye, she was a lawyer turned pastry chef at Le Second Volant,
which was
Shay away from Shay.
Yeah, it's like Cigar Volant becomes like a recurring. You never actually go there, I don't think. Maybe but once.
Once when Martin buys the painting.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a recurring, and she works there. So yeah, this is the first time they meet. And
Mom sets him up.
Mom sets him up after covering for Frasier at the mall. He's trying to buy Roz a gift, and she sets him up. And it's really, I mean, it's just. Like
it's sweet.
It is sweet. It's a very, and it feels so
like
organic.
Act 1 is very sweet.
Yeah, it's a very organic kind of flow into the meeting.
Yeah, when they meet, when the mom meets him, he has some presents he already bought at the mall, and one of the presents in the bag you can easily see is a menorah because Lilith, his ex-wife, one of his ex-wives, which. Yeah.
I don't know. I think Lilith was my favorite of his ex-wives.
Lilith is awesome. I love Lilith. I love Lilith. Anyway, but yeah, so the mom sees the menorah, does some simple math, and thinks, well, obviously Frasier Crane, he's a doctor, he's got a menorah, he's Jewish. Faye walks into the apartment, and there's a wreath, and...
Well, there's just a wreath.
And she's like, you have a wreath? And it's all like, I thought you were Jewish. What would give you that idea? Well, you had a menorah.
My son is half Jewish,
which isn't a thing.
Isn't actually a thing. People did. If you can't be half Jewish, if you're Jewish, or you're not, and that's how they. That's what it is.
Yeah. So it's not a problem with Faye, but for her mother, Faye really thinks it's going to be a huge problem. So Frasier tells his dad, like, we're Jewish, and they like hide the They
hide the wreath and. The fake, they...
Oh, man.
Okay, so this Act 3 is basically, it's like the revolving door TV trope, where there's a bunch of characters in one or two rooms, and everyone coming in or out, it's just near misses and close calls in between, and it's just, you can get a lot of comedy out of it.
Yeah, you could like literally turn the sound off and just play yakety sax. And
yeah,
it would
speed
be
it
fun.
up and
Yeah, it's very Benny Hill.
Yeah, so the way they do this is really well done. Unlike that brisket that just won't cook through.
Oh, you want me to look at it?
Only it's not a brisket in the oven, it's a ham, but
ham.
he has to lie and say it's a brisket because he's trying to pretend he's Jewish.
Yeah, and Niles is taking part in a Christmas pageant that's just a giant clusterfuck that Daphne's putting on, and he has been brought in to play Jesus, but the hay from the manger is making his hay fever act up, so he's up there trying to like take some histamines or something, but he's dressed as Jesus. He really pulls this off too.
Yeah, the Christmas tree gets delivered at the last minute, so they shove it, him and the guy in the bathroom and shuffle him out right before. And again, like there's just this really, it flows so well. Like they never miss a beat. The Niles Jesus thing is just.
Jesus!
His startled face. This one actually it was an Emmy winner. So it won, for I think best comedy performance or best comedy show.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it. Okay, so then towards the end, the jig is up. Obviously. They figured out, and then Faye and her mother get in a fight over, well, why are you pretending? Why can't you just let me live your life? And the whole mother-daughter protect nature thing. But they're Jewish, so that's just a thing they do. But Frasier and Martin don't understand that.
Yeah, they end it with like, I hate you too, and then they're like, oh my God, I didn't mean I love you, and it's all fine. Like, oh, just wait a second, we'll be done in a minute, like in the middle of them like yelling at each other.
Yeah, and so at the end, Faye and her mother hug it out at the end because that's just how it works. After they leave and Frasier and Martin try it, it's not quite the same because they're not Jewish and they don't do this.
Yeah, and they end up bawling and regretting it and trying to like recruit one of the neighbors who's Jewish to walk them through it.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, and it sounds kind of like sad and heartbreaking in a way it is, but it's played for laughs, and those laughs happen. Within the argument, there's lines that are designed to make you laugh, and they work.
Oh yeah. And I mean, honestly, it also, to me, it's just another example of how much Martin really loves his kids.
Yeah.
Because like it's just yet another grenade that Martin jumps on for Frasier. Because I mean, Frasier literally like walks over to him and is like, "We're Jewish." Huh? What? Like pretend to be Jewish, and like it's just like.
I don't know how. Just answer a question.
Everything with a question.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. I mean, he pretends to be gay at one point. Yeah. At another point, he's the Duke of something or other, and he comes out with a sash. I mean, it's fucking hysterical, the things that he does for his kids. So, as crusty as he could be at times, he's also the most lovable character. So, and then the Christmas display, obviously not much. I mean,
they didn't get to decorating that year, I guess, because this is that's the wreath that they had hung up that disappears immediately
quickly
after.
Yeah.
Like I said, a Christmas tree gets delivered and
it was a janky looking Christmas tree.
Yeah,
too,
I don't even know who was.
It was like just has like a couple of silver bows thrown on it. And that's it.
It was an artificial piece of shit that
janky as hell.
Pre-lit, and it was kind of odd because I'm like that was a Frasier thing, and he ordered that. He thought that was fine. Usually he's more tasteful than that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So either way, IMDb gives that one an 8.7, which is tied for the highest ranking of any of these particular episodes.
So
hey,
IMDb agrees with me yet again.
Well,
I know what I'm talking about. I'm your elder, sir.
Copernicus called, and the universe does not revolve around you.
Oh, what sweet hell is this? What fresh hell is this? Alright, so number 2.
Number 2, and this is kind of hard, because this is just a damn fine episode, and if it weren't for the next one, like, there are days when I flip this one into number 1, like, I would almost, on any day, give this one like, okay, hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Number 1 is funnier. Number 1, for someone who has watched the show, is better. If you haven't watched the show, I would put this one as the go-to Christmas.
This is a far more technical episode.
But you don't have to really know the characters to get... We'll explain it later.
So it's perspectives.
Perspectives on Christmas from season 5. IMDb gives it an 8.6. So right up there. And this is the Rashomon style episode.
What's Rashomon, you ask?
I'm glad you asked.
Thank you, sir.
Rashomon is one of Akira Kurosawa's first major films. Fantastic movie, by the way.
See, I always thought it was some sort of Indian side dish.
It may be that too. But within this movie, a crime is committed, and several characters recount this crime from their own perspectives, and it changes ever so subtly depending on who's telling that story. And it's just a fantastic work of cinema, and it's become a trope that just about every TV show that's ever existed has used in their repertoire since this movie came out, which I think was like 51. So basically every TV show ever has done a Rashomon-style episode.
But Frasier does it extremely well. Extremely well.
Yeah, this is probably the best entry to Frasier Christmas that you could get. Martin has been recruited to be in a Christmas pageant, which sounds a lot like the last one, but this one goes a little deeper. But he doesn't want to tell Daphne because then she would want to come. Frasier is trying to find the perfect gift for everyone, but he's being so wrapped up in trying to find the perfect gift that he's being so selfish that he's oblivious to everyone else. Niles, what does Niles do other than get trapped in an elevator?
Looking at Daphne.
Fawns over Daphne. And Roz is having a hard time being pregnant at Christmas by herself while trying to figure out how to tell her mother she's pregnant.
Who's flying in.
While trying to come to terms with the fact that Frasier accidentally told her mother
On the phone.
So, all of these, this sounds like a complicated episode when you explain it, but when you watch the episode, man, does it flow well.
Yeah, they're all just recounting this to a masseuse who's giving them a massage.
Mm-hmm. And, they get a lot of great mileage out of Daphne thinking that Martin's dying when he's just trying to be in a play. Just these out of context one-liners that when you walk into a room and hear something and you already have it in your head that it's about one thing, but he's talking about something completely different. So, tell me again, what am I supposed to say when I see Jesus for the first time? Yeah. Things like that.
I don't have much time left.
Yeah.
Oh, Daphne, this is the sweater I saw in the window.
I can die a happy man now. Interesting fact about that sweater, if you watch the episode, it appears later.
Yes, in the seal that came to dinner.
Yes, yeah.
Great episode too, by the way.
Which is another great one. Not Christmas, so it's not here. But yeah, everything intertwines in just such a way. And my favorite thing is just the little minutia that changes through perspectives.
Especially with Niles.
Mostly with Niles.
Yeah, I mean, in Niles' mind, he is a perfect gentleman with Daphne. Through Frasier, he is a despicable lech.
Yeah.
Through Daphne, he is her best friend.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and Martin is just kind of somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, Martin's too worried about the play to notice.
My guess is Martin probably sees it the way it actually was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Martin's all freaked out because he was originally it was just going to be Eddie that was in there, in the manger scene. And then they recruited him to be a shepherd, I think.
Yeah.
And then whoever was one of the wise men got sick or something, and he got promoted to wise man, and now he had to sing
Oh,
Holy Night. And he can't hit that high note.
Yeah, so he's having anxiety about being in this play because he can't hit the note. And you've heard the song, you know the one.
Yeah.
Oh night divine. Wait, hang on. Isn't there an exercise
There's an exercise that Frasier says points out where you're doing physical movement to take your mind off of the note.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, let me show you.
Yeah, let's try that. Okay, let me try this again. Oh night divine.
No. Something's divine. I think it's just a mental block. But yeah, so push comes to shove. Delicious episode. Very funny. Very, very good. Very well done. The holiday decor, very well done.
Yeah, like I think this is one of my favorites. I have to actually consult my notes now. I was supposed to, really fly through that, but I can't see the screenshot.
It's a really good thing though. Just not to stop you, but it's a really good thing your brother wasn't here to join in on that because.
If 3 people were doing it, it might look stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the 2 of us. It's better that way.
Yeah, I feel a little more comfortable that way.
Yeah.
I really like Martin's decor. You got the flying. I love the flying reindeer. This arc over the fireplace here. That is my favorite touch. Like other than it's big, but it's not like grand like when Freddy was coming. But like they really
Martin went all out. Yeah.
Yeah, like they put a lot of time into this. But the reindeer was my favorite.
Yeah. Okay, so now to number 1. And now, as I said, this episode stands on its own as one of the best episodes of Frasier, period. It is High Holidays.
Yes, I will say though, it may be one of the best, but I think you have to get there. Like, you have to at least have a working knowledge of the characters and their personalities to really, really be able to pick out why it's so fun.
I mean, maybe, but I think any way you any way you cut it, it's still going to play for laughs.
Okay.
There's so many great one-liners. There's so many relatable moments. So basically, what it boils down to is Freddy's coming for Christmas. This is season 11. This is the last time you see Freddy. The whole house is decorated. Martin has done the whole house up gregariously, as you can see there. For Christmas, for the little kid, the kid to come home. Niles and Daphne are obviously very married. Daphne's pregnant at this point.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah. So they come out of the elevator, and Frasier's, well, where's Freddy? And they're like, oh, he wanted to ride up in the elevator by himself. Very deadpan, that's it. And Frasier's just elated, like, oh, he's still just a little kid, wants to push the button by himself and ride up there and be a big boy. Then you hear a ding, and the elevator opens, and out steps a, early teenager.
Dressed in all black with eye makeup. He's a goth now.
He's a goth now. I don't understand. The goths were pillagers and plunderers, and aside from your propensity to use your rooks aggressively in chess.
Yeah, make the connection.
Yeah. So yeah, Freddy comes out, he's all gothed out. That plot is basically just a whole lot of, Freddy and his ghoul friend Andy, who comes from Boston, just ditching Frasier over and over again.
As teenagers do with their parents.
Unfortunately. Frasier is also recording a TV spot for like a travel log or like a travel promo to bring people
to Seattle.
they also like Eddie, and it turns out that they film Eddie and just dub in his mouth moving and using Frasier's voice, which they show, and that's so goth.
Yeah, that's so goth. Frasier doesn't love it, but everyone else thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah. So that's the A plot, and at the end, like Andy ditches him, and he's really bummed out, and his mascara is running even more than normal, and he asks his dad, like, Dad, did you ever have a girl break your heart or treat you like that? And he's like, oh, son.
Let me tell you a tale.
Yes, has anything like that ever happened? You know what? We'll pour you a bowl of cereal.
A big
bowl.
So the A plot leads directly into the B plot, which is Martin is trying, this is the hallmark of the episode. Martin is trying to explain to Frasier that, like, look, every kid has a rebellious phase. You just have to deal with it. I understand. I dressed like Freddie does when I was that age too. I don't like to admit it, but hey, I did.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
I like to think I've come a long way, but hey, I had a rebellious phase. But the point of the episode is, Martin is going over this, and he's thinking, Niles, well,
he was just one of those good kids.
yeah, Niles, you were just a good kid. You never rebelled. So Niles is offended and takes this to heart and goes, fine, I'm going to rebel.
I'm going to be a father soon. I mean, how can I be a good father if, I've never actually rebelled? So he takes it on himself. He's going to rebel.
Yeah, so how does he rebel? He was going to get high on reefer.
Yes, on Mary Jane.
Which one of the Seattle Demi-Monde is going to get you drugs? Then Roz shows up with a pop brownie.
Yeah, one of the guys in my apartment building makes them. Oh, reefer in its purest form. This sticky icky. Oh, it's a pop brownie.
It's a brownie, you idiot.
Yeah.
So Niles thinks he's going to get high by eating a pop brownie, but through a farcical mix-up, Martin winds up with the pop brownie and eats it because, he's indulging for the day.
Eats the whole fucking
brownie.
whole
thing in just one sitting.
The more you know, boo, 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 don't eat the whole brownie.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
So as Niles is walking back into the coffee shop, he has to go, Martin goes and quickly buys a brownie, gives Niles a regular brownie, and then the episode goes from there.
You're missing. He hands him the brownie, and he's like, and then directly behind him are two police officers. He's like, yes, and he turns and he's like, oh, and he just kind of cringes and as he walks past the cops.
Yeah, it's just this creepy, grotesque, like.
Yeah, very. Oh god, it's hilarious.
Yeah. So the rest of the episode is Niles is pretending he's high because he thinks he's high. Which, I've had friends do that, because I've given them fake acid and they pretended they were tripping. That happened.
That's a story for a different day, kids.
And then Martin, who's actually high.
Oh.
And this is gangbusters comedy. Again, I want to test, like, a newbie into Frasier who doesn't quite know Martin's personality and whether or not that's funny, or if it's only this funny, because throughout the whole series, Martin's really straight-laced.
I think it's funny no matter what. I mean, he sells it. John Mahoney, who plays Martin, sells this. The lines are funny. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Anybody says these lines, they're going to be funny. But the way Mahoney sells it in his face, like, he is just...
You actually believe this is the first time he's got high.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember those days when it was that, the first time when Martin gets back to the apartment, you don't even see him. You hear him off camera behind the door drop his keys and then hysterical laughter. And I remember the days when dropping your keys was a moment to just fall down laughing.
I have no idea what you're speaking of. I've never smoked or ingested any form of drugs.
Yeah. Okay.
I would be looking forward to something called the munchies phase, where I'm gonna eat the sea bass with an aggressive Zinfandel.
It's such a good line.
Oh,
but yeah, so like, drug comedy can go off the rails and get over the top really, really quickly. But again, Martin sells it. Like, John Mahoney sells it as Martin. Like, you believe he's actually high for, like, the first or second time in his life ever and doesn't realize it. What do you think this means? dog army. I had a reason. Fridge pants.
Yeah, I mean, and then one of my all-time favorites, and it's a line, I mean, I use dog army a lot, I mean, especially with my job, but one of my favorite lines ever is when he walks in, he's dying laughing, he's got a big bag of barbecue potato chips, and a thing okay, he says it's pudding, and it is pudding when he pulls it out, it's chocolate pudding, but it looks like a Cool Whip container, and he's like, I'm putting why am I putting the chips in the Cool Whip? He's like, I'm gonna turn you on to the best thing ever. And he grabs a chip and scoops it out and he holds it out and he's like, taste that. Tell me that's not better than a woman.
Barbecue pudding chips. Yeah, these are the kind of things that you do like the first few times you're stoned. It's like barbecue pudding chips.
Why are you putting, the chips in the pudding?
You should be putting the pudding in the chips.
If you had only some idea of how weird you sound. And Niles has got like a really sharp knife, and Frasier's walking in and out, and he's like, Dad, take that knife and cut that up for him. He's in no shape to be using a sharp object, as Martin's dying.
It's just how they sell it. Like Niles pretending he's high is exactly like you think. Martin who's actually high, like you buy it.
Yeah.
And that's the key to this episode is you buy it. I do also like the subplot, the very, very tiny, brief, almost throwaway line. Right after Roz delivers the pot brownie, she has to go because she has a date.
And it's Santa!
It's Santa! Which calls back to last year's Christmas episode where she wanted to fuck Santa!
Yeah, so this time she's getting her jollies off. Just a fucking great episode.
Yeah, this episode is so goth.
Oh, it's so goth. So that's our list.
That's it.
So 8-1, it's Merry Christmas, The Fight Before, what was We Two Kings? No, Miracle on 3rd or 4th Street, We Two Kings, Frasier Grinch,
Merry Christmas, Mrs. Moskowitz.
With Perspectives and
Christmas and
High Holidays. So that's our list. We hope you liked it. If you disagree, tough shit, we're not listening.
I mean, we're listening either way.
You might be.
Tell us what you think. Do you watch Frasier? Hey, we've got some comments down. Got a comment section down here. Do you want to get into Frasier? Do you want to talk to us about Frasier?
We would be super happy if you want us to talk more about Frasier, because that just gives me an excuse to watch it more.
Hey, we've got a Patreon now, and if you donate enough to our Patreon, you can come onto the show and talk about Frasier with us.
You can come down here
the sherry
into the bar, which, again, if you donate enough in Patreon, I can flesh out the bar and actually build a real bar. The hope is that we can get enough money to buy a kegerator.
That'd be cool too.
So we can have it down here and, drink beer.
And that's for the future. Or you can even donate $1 a month and we'll do something fancy. Mischa's got all that figured out.
For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you can get 3 guys drunk.
And isn't that
what everything's all about? It's the holiday season.
Help us get drunk.
Yeah.
So anyway, comment, subscribe, help us out on Patreon if you can. We'd really appreciate that. We want to keep doing this, and the more help we can get, the better our production values get too, by the way, so that would go up. Other than that, thank you so much for watching.
Comment, subscribe.
Hey, I just said that, but we can't say it enough,
say it again. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Okay, what was it? What was it?
You have to use a physical exercise to take your mind off of it, and your body. You start up here. Oh,
okay.
Oh. Yes. Yeah. Oh. I wonder if the reverse works.